Hi, I'm Tom Lydon, editor of ETF Trends, and I'm here with John Feyerer and Dan Draper from Invesco PowerShares. Gentlemen, thanks for being with me.
Great to see you.
Great to be with you.
So, as pioneers and one of the first issuers to offer smart beta-oriented ETFs, low volatility tends to be something that everyone's talking about now. Why?
Well, it's interesting. If you look on a historical basis, volatility is quite low now relative to, again, you look at multi-decade cycles. So intuitively, from a risk management perspective, it's probably a good time if you're thinking about tilting or effectively buying some level of volatility for overall portfolios. But that aside, look at the macro world we live in. Zero interest rates, and frankly, even in Europe, negative interest rates is crazy. So many demographics, particularly baby boomers, who've been told, for decades in preparation for your retirement, as you approach retirement, move from riskier equity type assets to fixed income. Well, that could compound your risk, ironically, in the current environment we're in. So if we really look at, for the baby boomers in particular, for them, they're almost having to be overweight equities for the yield that dividends provide, but at the same time, how can they still at the same time reduce risk in their portfolio for retirements, for example? And clearly, low volatility equity strategies are a great way to look at that.
But John, the growth market's been pretty hot, and there are a lot of advisors out there that their clients look at their portfolio and say, hey, these really are doing well, and some of this low volatility stuff might be underperforming.
Well, what we would just counsel financial advisors to be thinking through there is just the longer-term risk and return characteristics of a low volatility strategy, especially when you look at it against the market backdrop right now. Just when you look at the what we believe is likely really an aging bull market, and something that financial advisors should really be mindful of. It's obviously the market's been on a tremendous run. It actually is shortly going to become the third longest and strongest bull market since the Great Depression. So we believe this is a time that financial advisors should really be stepping back and looking at the gains that they have and implementing strategies that can help to maintain that portfolio through time.
So is your point we should be looking not to what's going on in the market in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, but go back and look at what happened in 08 and 09, for example?
No, that's exactly right. And I think that is one of those events that, for investors that live through that, is going to be a part of their psyche for the rest of their lives. And we believe when you just look at the math involved with digging out from significant portfolio drawdowns, you can start to look at a low volatility strategy as a core equity holding, particularly when you look at the aging baby boomers and those investors that are transitioning from the accumulation phase of their financial plan to the distribution, and the importance of maintaining that core portfolio.
Dan, we know that there's a lot of risk or potential risk in the fixed income market, but people grabbing yields. Low volatility also offers a decent amount of yield. And we're hearing that people are actually taking risky fixed income allocations and going into low volatility areas while grabbing the yield.
Absolutely, but what's important is, again, if you have this herding into certain strategies that may be attractive yield, even in equities, all of a sudden that becomes overvalued, and you potentially fall into some type of trap there. So that's why for us to have a simple, transparent, low-cost way of systematically every quarter, rebalancing through a simple low volatility strategy on the S&P 500. But in addition, we received recent feedback from clients and have now taken that same S&P 500 low volatility, and now we're also adding a second filter around interest rate sensitive stocks. So, and you can see, and then even most recently, we've applied it to a currency hedge strategy in Europe. So now you see that power of that single risk factor, but really doing it not as a standalone product, but as a toolkit. We're very, very skilled financial advisors to be able to use these in an overall asset allocation decision process for their clients.
Right. John, quickly, give me a couple ticker symbols of some of these products that Dan's talking about.
Sure. The interest rate sensitive XRLV was just launched a month or two ago, and actually the currency hedge FXEU was actually just launched last week on May 7th. So those are two strategies really excited. And just to build upon Dan's point, we do see real opportunity to couple couple up factors with volatility, and then in this case currency hedge, and then of course the interest rate sensitive. And there's also a high dividend strategy. So for those investors that are concerned with dividends, coupling high dividend with low volatility, SPHD is another strategy we see a lot of interest in here, certainly on a year-to-date basis.
Great stuff, guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
Great
Tom.
being here. Thanks.